The DCB Genesis is going to change everything. And I don't mean by altering multiverses or something. It's just a very good knife. And today, in this episode of review, I'm going to tell you why. So, let's get started. Like most grills at this price point, the Genesis comes in a nicely stitched and decorated pouch. I wouldn't recommend trying to flip the pouch though, it doesn't quite work. But anyways, the Genesis looks amazing. I mean, just look at that awesome scimitar blade. The blade itself has a rounded spine as well as tang pins, and it runs on bronze phosphorus washers and bushings, which makes this thing super smooth and rock solid when it comes to tolerances. I mean, zero tap and zero play. As well, the Genesis also has sandwich construction titanium handles and full-length spacers. This thing's sick. Because of the length of the spacers, there is no need for a latch anywhere. In fact, it's completely latchless, which is great. I mean, I always love a completely latchless knife because I hate taking out latches and dealing with annoying screws all the time and having them stripped. Sorry, I just had a little bit of BRS stuck in my throat. The retail price of the Genesis definitely varies because it is a custom knife. So based on the changes you make, you may have a lower or higher price. But the secondhand prices are more or less around $850 to $950. But that's sort of the median in between. It may be more expensive based on how it's spec'd. So if you don't feel like spending a lot of money on a really high quality knife, and you'd rather spend money on your other passions, this might not be for you. I'll be honest, at first I didn't think I was going to like this knife as much as I do now. It felt a bit too handle biased for me, so I didn't really feel like I was going to have such a fun experience, but this thing really turned my feelings around. It flipped the tables on how I felt about it. It's such a fun knife, and I definitely dropped this thing a few times, but unlike other knives that were handle biased like this, I didn't feel annoyed that I dropped it. I actually enjoyed picking this thing back up again and restarting the combo that I was working on. This knife is ridiculously fun, and I love it. It's tactile, it's smooth, and it sounds pretty good too. For those curious, yes, it fans, and it fans pretty darn good. As well as I think it does pretty good on ladders, and it's also very responsive when it comes to chaplains. This whole knife is just extremely responsive without making too much noise, which is why I like tang pins so much. This knife is just great at doing a lot of the tricks that you want to do. My final thoughts on this knife are pretty simple. I think it's fantastic. I love this knife to death. It's actually one of the knives that I think is probably up there with the Gigas. For those of you who don't know, the Gigas is my all-time favorite knife. This thing is definitely just so close in second. It's actually right up there with the Gigas, in fact. This knife flips great, it looks great, and it just, overall, a fantastic knife. If you're willing to spend enough money on this knife, get one. It's great. As always, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and got a lot of information out of it. I'll see you guys next time on the next episode of Review. Peace out.